What is going on, everybody? My name is James. Welcome back. A little late to the table on this one, but we gotta talk about the ending of Dragon Ball Daima. Pretty spectacular stuff. Now, I'm a little late because I've been watching it on Netflix and not been watching it on Crunchyroll. I know.
Objection!
I'm a huge fan. Not a huge fan of paying money. Also, not a huge fan of piracy. I like to support the artists, the writers, the animators, the reanimators, everyone, because it's not just, and I mean this very nicely, Akira Toriyama is the greatest. But without his animators and his staff, none of this would have been possible, and they kicked ass. They absolutely blew it out of the water. Not only, spoilers, full disclosure, spoilers, Super Saiyan 4 is canon. Now let's get one thing straight. People are loving the new design or hating the new design. I'm a little impartial on it. I've always been a GT lover. I've never truthfully disliked it like so much of the community has since its inception in like 1996 or 1997. However, it's fantastic. Like I said, there's parts of GT that weren't very good, as is for most mediums in general. Not all of it is going to be spectacular, um, but for the most part, it generally was a great uh, addition to the Dragon Ball franchise. I mean, the Shadow Dragon arc, the Baby arc, stellar stuff. Um, Black Star Balls, cool, great ideas. And now that we've got confirmation that Daima is I'm not gonna say GT knockoff, but like, it derived its roots very much from GT. And I guess you could say Dragon Ball as well, because GT was supposed to bring back the childish slash younger generation of Dragon Ballers versus Z. You know, keep the edge of Z, but bring it back to its roots with Dragon Ball. Now, I think Daima did it perfectly with keeping us in the realm of Z, throwing the GT element in there, but also keeping it playful and entertaining like Dragon Ball. Now, I personally think Super Saiyan 4 Goku from GT looks better. Everyone's like, well, the red hair and the red fur, they just make sense, it just works. Totally not. Mark said that in his podcast. Totally not a podcast. Not sponsored. Not looking for a shout out. Just he's someone I watch and has mentioned that take. Um, I do believe the contrast of the black and the red and the yellow pants. It's just iconic. I may be blinded by nostalgia. I grew up with GT. Loved it. Loved pretty much everything about it for the most part. My favorite non-canon Dragon Fist came out of there. Vegeta's entire arsenal is fodder in GT. He doesn't use anything that's really canon for himself. But I just wanted to discuss how prolific Daima was. Um, People are a little on the fence about it for the most part. I think I heard more bad takes in the former half of it, the beginning half of the show. But more towards the end, people started to come around. I think they started to realize that it's not just Dragon Ball. It's not just gonna be the grand adventure, um, which I did thoroughly enjoy. I think it's been a long time since I've seen something so akin to Dragon Ball while maintaining the threat level of Z and while maintaining the fun aspect of it, the joy, the journey, the adventure, not just the raw, unadulterated action, left, right, up, and down. Um, it's it's very good. I'm very happy about it. I think it was very well done. I think it was very well put together. Very nice pacing. I enjoyed the pacing. Some people had an issue with the pacing. I personally think for 20 episodes they did a really good job. Um, I guess we got to address the big one here. Why is Goku able to go Super Saiyan 4 I guess we kind of always assumed Vegeta could use three, but doesn't because of the practicality issues. Goku mentions too much ki, too much energy expense being expended, rather. Um, but be that as it may, it is stated to be Super Saiyan 4, and I'm not a huge guy to mind the canon aspect of it being a little wishy washy. Do I wish there was an explanation to his why when Goku fights Beerus for the first time he explains that Super Saiyan 3 is the best he can do? I would very much like an explanation for that. I'm not just going to completely dismiss the fact that they just threw that out of nowhere. But yet, we get a canon continuity for Bulma starting her de-aging obsession that we see go into the Broly movie, hence why she uses the Dragon Balls and she wants to look younger and Frieza wants to gain a few centimeters. It's all an aesthetic thing. They made it canon for Bulma to aesthetically want to look younger, but we're gonna throw Super Saiyan 4 out the window. I thought the magic, the the Namekian, I thought him turning Kid Goku into Super Saiyan 4 was like, okay, he tapped into his great ape, he brought the tail back, it's magic. It's magic, right? It's magic. No. Apparently Goku can just turn Super Saiyan 4 and it doesn't matter. It just does not matter. That doesn't really bother me, because at the end of the day, I'm a true fan of the series. I'm just happy to get content in general. I'm happy that it was well made, it was thoughtful, and it was in respect to the creator, even though he put as much work into this, if not more, than anything he's created in the past. And yes, there are some plot holes, but at the end of the day, nitpicking about something as little, depending on what type of fan you are, is I feel like missing the major point of this is that we got something new. Not only did we get something new, we got something that was made with love, passion, and everything else that could go into something that was this well done. The animation style. Some people say if you take out the cuts of the ending and the beginning, it flows as smoothly as a movie would. And I tend to agree. It is a pretty tight knit story where the episodes pretty much pick up right where they left off. There's not necessarily like hours have passed, days have passed, they're in a separate location. No, they pretty much pick up from exactly where they left off. Some people have issues with that. I don't particularly have any issues with that. As I said, it's been a while since I've seen such a consistent version of Dragon Ball where it's not always constantly wondering where things are going to go. It's like we kind of all knew it was going to happen, right? I think we can all agree that we kind of knew where this was heading. We kind of knew that they would turn back into adults, and we kind of knew what would happen with the characters towards the end, right? But that doesn't make it any less interesting. I'm just happy that it was as well done as I hoped it would be. The, you know, the Japanese voice cast was absolutely phenomenal. I cannot wait to listen to this in English. Then again, I've always watched the Japanese version first as it airs. Obviously, I wasn't alive in the 80s and the 90s. So when I watched Super for the first time, it was in Japanese. It was the sub. And I have no problem with that. I personally like watching the sub and then going to the dub. But I'd be lying to you if I said I wasn't far more excited for the dub, listening to Sean Schimmel and Chris Sabat do their thing. I think it's just going to be amazing. I can't wait for the childhood nostalgia to come back. And the redesign of Super Saiyan 1 through 3, like we got in the Buu saga, the recreation of one of the coolest things to ever come out of Dragon Ball in general was this is to go even further and beyond. And we got even further beyond that. It's just crazy to me. I think they ended it pretty well. They left a little bit of, how do I say, a teaser, I guess, at the end. I'm not even sure you can call it a teaser. It could just be for fun. It could just be for shits and giggles. I mean, who really knows, honestly? And with all that, just want to discuss it a little bit. I know I'm late to the party on this. Like I said, I watched it on Netflix, which was a week after the Crunchyroll release. And even on top of that, I'm doing this a day after the day it released. But just wanted to express my love for the franchise, my love for Daima. Did they do everything perfectly? No. Did they do the best they could? Absolutely. Am I happy this is a part of the franchise? Absolutely. Dragon Ball will always hold a special place in my heart, and the fact that we got canon GT for all those GT haters, all those all those people, and you know who you are, who hated GT tooth and nail, day and night, just because it's not canon and this and that and other, can't appreciate it for what it is. And guess what? Akira Toriyama gave you the biggest middle finger from the grave ever. He said not only is GT officially canon for the most part in this new iteration of it, Super Saiyan 4 is just canon. It just is. You're beat. Whether you like it or not, Super Saiyan 4 is canon. And that's probably upsetting a lot of people, and I don't care. Just wanted to give my thoughts on this. See ya.